LeBron James attempting to rewrite history.
Giannis Antetokounmpo would have 250 points in a game in the 70s. 250.
Is that Kuzi? When was Kuzi playing?
Kuzi's 50s.
Dude, Kuzi's locking up fucking Giannis, brother.
He's saying 70s, not 50s.
And that's no disrespect. Like, it's no disrespect, but like, seriously.
This time, trying to destroy the legacy of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. How, you may ask, right? Did you guys see that clip with Pat McAfee where he's talking about if Giannis was dropped into 1970s NBA, he could get 250 points in a single game. It's one of the most absurd things that LeBron has ever said, but this is all calculated in my opinion. You guys remember before it was trying to rewrite history with 90s basketball? You know, the whole notion that JJ Redick was running with and all of this stuff, and people were trying to say maybe this is basically coming from LeBron James, where people were trying to say, oh, Michael Jordan, he was playing against plumbers and this and that, and these guys weren't as great as today's NBA, where Michael Jordan is regarded as the greatest basketball player ever, right? By almost every single generation, including this one. They did a poll. Current NBA players still believe Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time. Who's next on that list? Who is a generational GOAT? That would be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is regarded by old school, NBA enthusiasts as the greatest basketball player of all time. And he deserves it. You look at those stats, you look at those titles, you look at those accolades, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could be regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time. And there's no argument from anyone, which is why this is interesting to me, right? LeBron James gets done with, bashing 90s basketball, which is Michael Jordan's era. That's the greatest basketball player of all time's era. So if you destroy that decade and you try to, rewrite history by saying, hey, that decade wasn't that great. These guys were like plumbers and this and that and all these kinds of stupid notions that people are running with, then people, kind of vault up your legacy. They put you at a different level that you're not really at, right? Because now you made them believe that whole decade is trash. And so if you do that with 1970s basketball, that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's era, right? If you do that with 1970s, then now you destroy Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's legacy by calling that era trash. And if everyone follows suit, now if they think that era is trash, LeBron James is all of a sudden regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, because people start to believe, 1990s basketball wasn't that great. 1970s basketball wasn't that great, So I believe this is on purpose. LeBron's the only player that does like this. All of the greats ahead of him always show love and respect to the pioneers of the game, to the legends of the game that came before them. It's the reason that they are as great as they are. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be who you are as a basketball player. But he destroys, the eras and legends, pioneers before him by saying stupid like this. No, Giannis would not score 250 points in a 1970s basketball game. All of these legends of the game playing in that era. And it's not like, they didn't know great basketball. They're legends of the game. They're Hall of Famers. They're regarded as all-time greats. Same goes for the 1980s basketball. 1990s, same thing. Some of the greatest basketball players of all time came from that decade. So you can't destroy these eras of basketball, these decades, to try to make yourself look like the greatest basketball player of all time. That's LeBron's weakness in all of this. We, as the fans, get to decide who the greatest basketball player of all time is. You can't tell us who the greatest basketball player of all time is. You can't tell people what they're watching. You can't try to destroy legacies in order to boost yourself up. Bullshit. And everyone needs to see it for what it is. And once again, he's going after another decade to try to boost himself up. And that's why he's going after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's legacy. Of course, Kareem is the one that he just passed in all-time points. But he hasn't matched him in titles. He hasn't matched him in MVPs. He hasn't matched him in so many other things. Which is why he is trying to boost himself above Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in all-time legacy. It's simple.
I was actually, to your second question, was jogging into the locker room like we usually do off the floor. I saw a legend outside of our locker room, and I slowed my pace up.
How you feeling? Looking good. Things looking good for you. Yeah, go ahead and take that.
That's up.
All right.
Just to embrace a legend being in our building, watching us play, but what he did for the game, the championship runs that he had with the Showtime Lakers, and him being an all-time leading scorer in NBA history, and so on and so on and so on. So it's just respect. When you see a guy like that, and you put him in the class with Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali and Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, those guys all laying that same thing. Bill Russell. So it was a pretty cool moment.
Getting a chance to get the all-time scoring record this year. Do you have any thoughts on Kareem, and also if you have a relationship with him?
No thoughts. And no relationship.
Last thing for LeBron.
Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, share. I appreciate it. Peace.